Well, can't get that Renew Your Vows comic review working. Perhaps I can review a story from the good old days. A story where the Green Goblin hates Spider-Man and the world was right. Before... Oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Basic gist of this story, or at least this part right here, the Green Goblin is trying to assemble a gang. But, they turn him down. So then he has to prove himself. So he goes to fight Spider-Man. And he actually ends up kicking our teenage wall crawler's ass. In fact, pretty badly. And he just flies off. And Peter's too injured to web swing home, so he takes public transportation, where he thinks he sees the Green Goblin flying by and freaks out in the subway. If it sounds like I'm being a bit rushed, it's because I am, because I have no idea when this battery life on this camera is going to cut out. I don't really feel like spending too much time on this. So the Green Goblin assembles his gang and stuff, and Peter goes to show some photos to Jameson, and he's not impressed. Because of course he's J. Jonah Jameson. In fact, he literally says that they're worthless. So it's a classic Spider-Man story when Jameson hates everything Peter does, pretty much. I never liked you, Parker, but I like you even less lately. Everything okay? I guess. I'm just a little off. I see. Well, go on, pronto, or you're fired! And Green Goblin commits a daring daylight bank robbery that Spider-Man is sitting watching in his room because Goblin beating the crap out of him got to him. Then Aunt May startles him and he goes on the ceiling. No joke. And the battery is already at like 2 bars rather than 3. For Spider-Man to do some interrogating. Teach me to work for a guy that dresses like an elf when it ain't even Halloween. Didn't I see you on TV? The bank job. I love your work. Ah! I want to hear about it. So the guy pretty much tells him where to find the Green Goblin, and Spidey just webs him up. Because this guy's saying the Green Goblin's too crazy, and you need to take him off the street. Wow, a criminal who actually cares about the people. Ain't that something? You don't get that in mainstream Marvel comics. Most of the time, the villains are stereotypes for political figures that Marvel doesn't agree with. And his men say the Green Goblin ought to lay low, but the Green Goblin being the Green Goblin, he isn't going to. Only for Spider-Man to stroll in. Yeah, he doesn't even climb on the ceiling or anything, he just walks in. And a fight ensues with his worst enemy, who, Norman Osborn's never really revealed in this comic, I think. There is no Harry Osborn, so there was none of that cool stuff, but for what it is, it's a story for kids, where Spider-Man, almost gets the Green Goblin to, get hit by a train, but, saves him last minute, and of course he gets arrested. Something that would, never happen to the Green Goblin. He'd be putting some correctional facility or something. For Peter to come home and see whatever weirdness Aunt May cooked. Hey, it's probably better than the meatloaf, Pete. Contrary to many Marvel comics today, the story's pretty solid, albeit a bit childish, but hey, this is a bit nostalgic for me. I haven't really read this comic in years. The art's good. The characterization of Peter as a teenager struggling to be a superhero and struggling with superhero problems. All in all, pretty good writing, pretty good art, good characterization of Spidey, lots of jokes that don't fall flat like Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man. I mean, I wish I could show that off more, but I'm kind of rushing for time. back when Marvel was good. And this was the stuff they had for kids. You know, a lot of people will go and make the "it's just for kids" argument for a lot of really stupid and terrible cartoons. This stuff was very good. How come this stuff didn't get an animated series, and instead we got that, like, ADD knockoff of the Ultimate Comics, which I have some comics based off that series because I still had a subscription to Marvel, and my mom renewed my subscription. Then I decided, once that was over, I'd go on to the Amazing Spider-Man comics, which I got it right at the end of Superior Spider-Man, right when Spider-Man was back. Then a lot of Dan Slott weirdness later. I also got that first issue where Alex Ross did the cover. Then it was the all new, all different Spider-Man, and I was just like, this is too weird for me. I had a few more issues of that kicking around somewhere. But I came here back to these comics to really look at them and think, are they as good as I remember them being? Yeah, I mean, I guess they're about as good as an episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series from the 90s. Or maybe that's just my silly opinion. Well, whatever, it's better than Marvel now. Nowadays, in Marvel Comics, you get a bunch of stuff like, unspecified opinions on Islam, and women being really masculine, and men being really feminine, and all this other crap. Why can't Marvel go back to days like this, where they had good art and good stories? Fully review, like, all these comics. And hopefully I can actually get them done in a timely fashion. Easier than, Rango. I don't know the full name, but he does, like, the Ultimate Spider-Man comic reviews. My god. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good day, everyone.